I've now come to a realization that maybe others came to before, and maybe some think I'm wrong on. That's fine. And the realization is, I don't think Jerry Jones' number one goal is to win a Super Bowl. I think Jerry Jones' number one goal is to be the face, voice, and have full control of his franchise. And he'd like to win a Super Bowl, but he has to have that. Because if your number one goal is to win a Super Bowl, and Jim Harbaugh might be available, Bill Belichick is available, Mike Vrabel is available, hell, Pete Carroll is available, maybe, just maybe, Mike Tomlin could be available. All those things, and you decide to run it back with Mike McCarthy, it's because your number one objective is to have unquestioned full control of your franchise, be the unquestioned voice and face of the franchise. And I think it's a bad decision. Now, I understand that, Greg Olsen, who I think has been awesome, and I have massive respect for, that Greg Olsen, during the broadcast and since the game, via Twitter, has been very adamant that the smart move is to keep Mike McCarthy. That it's too reactionary, it's too prisoner of the moment-y to keep Mike McCarthy. I vehemently disagree with that take. I think people probably thought that when the Denver Broncos, 3 years into, was it 3 years or 4 years? I'm going to check it because I want to be exactly right here. But with John Fox in Denver, what'd you say?
It's been a long moment too as well, huh? Prisoner of the moment. This keeps happening.
Oh, well, sure. The very fair point. So John Fox in Denver, he was the coach there for 4 years, but he was the coach with Peyton for 3. In those 3 years, they went 13-3, lost in the divisional round their first playoff game. Went 13-3, lost in the Super Bowl. Went 12-4, lost in the divisional round their first playoff game. They had the bye every year. They made a Super Bowl. So he was 46-18, 3-4 in the postseason, won a playoff game with Tim Tebow as his quarterback, made the playoffs with Tim Tebow. Once he got Peyton, they won 12 or 13 games and had the bye every year and made a Super Bowl. And they fired him because they said, we need to get over the hump. We need to be better. And by the way, the next year they won the Super Bowl. And so I do think there are certain losses that wipe away all the good work you did in that regular season. And when I evaluate coaches, I ask the very simple question, because my coach and my GM evaluation is very different. The better the job the GM does, the higher expectations the coach has. The worse job a GM does, the lower expectations a coach has, which is why Belichick was in such a weird spot at the end in New England, because it's like, well, he is making the most with a roster that doesn't have any talent, but he picked the talent. So that obviously then works for him as a coach, against him as a GM. I think the Cowboys were tremendously talented. And I think the Cowboys were once again unprepared for the postseason. The Cowboys, in 2 of the last 3 years, losing home playoff games to Jimmy Garoppolo and Jordan Love, and no disrespect to Jordan because he's been excellent, but they were the 7th seed. They were fighting for their playoff lives in the final week of the year. It's his first ever playoff start. So losing those home playoff games as significant favorites is firing worthy. It just is. Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.